Introducing Richard Huck Planas, 8th degree master of Kenpo karate. As a true first-generation student of Ed Parker's, Huck trained at Master Parker's Pasadena School in the late 60s, and as a black belt, he managed and taught at the Pasadena School until 1975. Huck served for over 10 years as the executive vice president of the International Kenpo Karate Association until Master Parker's death. Huck Planas teaches not only the how-to, but the why, based on the rules and principles of the Kenpo system. As Master Parker said, he who knows how will be the student. He who knows why will be the instructor. Huck Planas is available for seminars internationally. For booking information and information on other RVF videos, call 1-800-356-VIDEO.
Okay, here we are back with the part 2 of Form 5. Now, before we do that, let's go back to the beginning and review it from the start. We won't do the salutation. We'll just come from the horse position out of the salutation. So we're just coming down from our clothes, and the person comes in. So we move off and settle. Come in, around with our sweep and punch. Drop back and settle. Come in, around with your sweep and punch. Drop back, block, parry, and chop. Come through, chop, turn him over, stomp, hop, stomp, drop, stomp, hop, stomp, cross, unwind, block, block, take down, invert, and chop, turn him over, stomp, hop, stomp, drop, stomp, hop, stomp, unwind, down the line, down, tuck, spin, chop, drop, kick, cross, pick him up, back knuckle, throw, down, tuck, spin, chop, drop, kick, 1, 2, 3, move off, down, hit, rip, chop, rip, back knuckle, claw, over and off in the corner, hit, rip, chop, and 1, 2, 3, kick, new line, off, kick, cross, and we stopped going back down the line. Okay, now you notice when I finished that section of the form to the end there, I wound up with my back to the camera. So I'm going to change over to the 3 o'clock line. That's the 3 o'clock line up from where the camera is now to pick it up to make the camera would be here where I would be facing it, and it's coming out of the left side of hopping crane into the strong side or right side of the sleeper. So the hopping crane technique, I would be my left kick. So I cross to over, unwind in my cat, and this is where I plant the heel, step out, shoot the ridge hand for the sleeper, come in behind to the line, go way around, unwind, claw, back knuckle, and push down in the forward bow on the line. We freeze our hands in this position, don't move them. We do our step through reverse, and then we draw to the cat to get the opposite side. We plant the heel, come in with the block, shoot the hand, move in around behind to the line, around behind, claw, back knuckle, push down into the forward bow. Okay, so we're working here our alternating hands on our claw, back knuckle, push down, and we're going to do that quite a few times. So we're working that, you know, where you work either claw, back knuckle, push down. So we did the leap, basically claw, back knuckle, push down. We did it claw, back knuckle, push down with the duals in the back breaker. We're going to be doing this a lot. But this is a thing you're supposed to see and figure out on your own. Okay, so we'll take that one more time through the sleeper series, then I'll let you work on it. So again, we're coming off the angle of hopping crane. We did our kick, cross over, unwind to the line in your cat, plant, move out, strike, move in behind to lock, all the way around, claw, back knuckle, push down, step through, draw to the cat, plant, move out, strike, around behind, claw, back knuckle, push down in the forward bow. Okay, play with that. We'll be back in a second with the next move. Okay, now, hope that didn't give you much trouble. Now, the next technique, brushing the storm, goes back to like when we did the backbreaker, when we were moving to the 3 o'clock line and covered that line, and we're ready for that person, but the man from 7:30 is the one that came in. So we're ready here, but this person came in. We're having the same principle now into brushing the storm. So I'm going to work this line. This will be the transition line facing the camera on the left side of the sleeper. So I'm on this line, like I'm covering this line, but the person over here is the one that comes in. So when I move, I'm going to circle my feet, and what I'm doing here is figure eighting my feet and figure eighting my hands at the same time. So just to show the footwork, this foot's going to drop and circle over, and this one's going to circle in to pick up the neutral on the opposite line. See? Again, so when I move the foot, I'm going to move over and pick up my new line from my forward. So in this position, I did that with my feet, so I'm going to match it with my hand. So I'm going to move over with my hand and foot and move in with the hand and foot at the same time. So left hand and left foot move together, right hand and right foot move together. Again, from the transition, from the push down, it's left, left, and then the right, right. Then moving into the kneel with the elbow. Well, we do the elbow in the form, but we don't stop for it. We don't put a pause in the motion. The elbow happens, and you roll right into the groin to come around to get the neutral, the pull, and the kick, and the step through reverse, where we keep our hands in position. And I'll do that from a different angle where you can see that happen. I'll move from in front of the line and get on that line as a new line. So from here, I move over, get on the line, add the elbow, but come all the way around to neutral, get my pull to my cat, my kick, neutral position, and then move to my new line, which would be my parallel line over on this side. So I step through with the elbow, come around to my pull, kick, and the transition from that is around behind ourselves and coming back to front. Let me run the two together so you see how they fit together. I'll take it from the whole sleeper coming off of this line. So from the transition, go into the sleeper, move off, around the line, claw, back knuckle, push down, step through reverse, and cat. Come out the opposite side, make my claw, back knuckle, push down, change my line, come through, my kick, reverse it, move around, come through, get my kick, and pivot to face front again. Okay, that should be easy enough to get. So play with that. We'll add the next move. Okay, now before we move on, let's go back and pick up the series of moves from the sleeper. So I'll pick it up from this angle again. We went into the crossover, you spin to the cat, come out around, hit, come around, push down, step through, transition, move out, around, claw, back knuckle, push down. Change to our new line, come outside, don't break for the elbow, remember, kick, transition back, then through our new line, pull, kick, around behind, and we unwind, set to our angle. Now, we're on the line. This is where Falling Falcon comes in. Falling Falcon will do the move from the position, the direct. We make the pin, step through, invert it again, and do the takedown. Snake the arm, hit, slide to the wrist, knee, kick, step back to the line, snake, hit again, and then we do our 3 on-line little sweeps, just basically for the form of 1, 2, 3, plant, and unwind to pick up the second side, where we step through, take down, snake, hit, knee, kick, step back off, snake, hit, slide, and again our 1, 2, 3, plant on line. Now, you'll notice here that everything is done online, and if you know the technique, it can't be done online because we don't have our angle of incidence for the heel kick. But the motion is what we're looking at, so the footwork is reversed in the next technique, and that's our strikes in falling falcon. When we off angle, we're matching a strike with our foot that we do with our hand in shield and mace. When we do shield and mace, when we come off and we put our punch in, then we go and we put this strike of this downward diagonal hammer fist in the kidney as a nerve pinch. Well, this is the same shot we're now doing with our foot to cross-reference it to our hand. So we have to be out on the same angle when that happens. So when we did that move, we set, and the heel would come in. The man would be laying on this line now as we heel and then come in with the ball. So we have to remember that we're glancing off, then heel kicking, and then ball kicking, because the next technique will turn that around. Okay, so let's hit that transition one more time. This would be our line. Let me pick it up where you can see it a little better, possibly. I'll move to this line where I just come around behind myself and set. So we do the takedown, snake, hit, slide up, knee, kick, step back to the line, snake again, hit, slide up, 1, 2, 3, on line. Now again, that's on line. The technique, remember, I would have to knee and step off to the corner so the heel would come in to have the proper alignment. So I'd have to be going in the corner instead of to the line. But the forearm again is on the line. So we have the 1, 2, 3, plant in the twist, unwind, get our pin, take down, snake, hit, knee, kick, step off, snake and hit, 1, 2, 3, on line, and then I will move into the next transition. Okay, so we'll just play with that part and we'll be back with the next move. Okay, now I hope you got through that okay. Now I'm going to go back here a second and talk about the last three techniques. So we had the sleeper, brushing the storm, and falling falcon. We have the 3 strikes in there in the 3 different zones that we work the takedown from. So we skip the middle one, and then we come back and pick it up, just so we don't skip a zone. So in the sleeper, just doing this facing the camera so you understand it, we went off and blocked, and we struck the high zone of the neck, and that's where we locked in for our takedown. Okay, and then we went into brushing the storm, where we went into the high zone, we dropped into the elbow, but then we left that position and went to the low zone to the groin for the takedown. Okay, so we had the top, we put the elbow in, then went to the low zone, and now we go back in falling falcon and say, remember that elbow? Let's take the elbow now and use that for our takedown. So that's why that comes in that way. We skipped it and then we went back to it. If you think about it, you would pass a zone. If I was going to do the technique for real, I could go into my hand and then I could drop into the elbow or just keep the hand for the takedown. So I shorten a range if I go in with the elbow and miss it. So that's a point to that, or a clue to that motion, that you wouldn't pass that zone normally. So we use the full extension, just like you can put the move of the elbow into the sleeper, as a lot of people do. The flapping elbow into the sternum or solar plexus, and then down to the groin, is like we do in the next move. So we go back and again pick that up. So now let's go into the next technique, which is circling the horizon, and with a complete down version, which reverses, remember this reverses leaping crane, of dropping yourself instead of dropping the opponent and reversing the strikes. Remember, in the crane, we move off, we kick to kick the person down, drop him, and that's our low kick to the knee. Then we hit the middle zone of the kidney with the back knuckle, and then we sandwich the head. So that we were working low, middle, high, and now we turn that around and we drop ourself and work high, middle, low for our takedown. So we'll get into that transition. Let's take that back from the angle I'll use from the form position into falling falcon first. So from the kick, around behind, the unwind, the takedown, snake, hit, pull, kick, step back, snake, 1, 2, 3, plant, unwind, takedown, snake, hit, kick, step off here, 1, 2, 3, and back on line. Now I'm going to move up the line a little bit so we see the transition. I'm going to unwind and bring my right foot to cat again to face front. When I do that, I do an overhead hanging type back knuckle, and that is really a block, followed by my claw, and then I step out with the back knuckle. Then I draw, elbow, drop to my knee, my leg is now forward, the hand is back, ready for my standard pose of the heel palm takedown. Now here's where I'm going to kick forward with my foot, and you kick your foot up high through the ball, kick through the kidney, and then drop the heel in. So we go ball, and you drop the heel. I'm not going to kick very high here, come down to the cement with my heel. But the heel wants to hit first, and then you drag to flat-footed, and then transition to the opposite side. So I come up behind the heel, unwind, and I'd be in a cat stance, back knuckle, claw, step out, back knuckle, elbow, drop, the sweep back, the kick up, drop to the heel, pull to flat, behind the heel, and I basically unwind to face front again. So I'm going to do that transition one more time from the 3 sweep, bang, bang, bang here, to the cat, back knuckle, claw, step out, back knuckle, draw, elbow, drop, oppose, the kick, heel, draw to flat. Behind the heel, unwind, back knuckle, claw, step out, back knuckle, draw, elbow, drop, sweep, the same kick to the heel, draw, behind, and unwind, and we're ready for our next technique. So play with that, and we'll be back with the leaping crane. Okay, I hope you got that down. Now, we'll talk a little bit about circling the horizon, going back into the counterbalance position here that we had standing up. Remember when we did hopping crane, that we threw our leg against our hand and we used the hand to keep us in position. Okay. And they went against the move instead of going like it was in Dance of Death with the move. That's our counterbalance again. Now we're doing the same thing when we do circling the horizon while we're on the ground. When we got into the technique and we dropped, we're on our knee, the elbow came in, the hand went back, and then we shot the leg back. So if I leave the hand here and throw that leg forward, it'll make you want to fall forward. See, so we throw our hands back to counterbalance that from down on your knee position. So the hands jerk back hard to your right as that right leg goes forward, and that's your counterbalance there that keeps you in position. So if you play with that good and hard without throwing your hands, and you should want to fall on your face to where you don't have your bracing angle, where the torquing of the hands back pulls you back into balance. So make sure you use that principle there. Now we're going to do the same principle in the last move in the crane, but we're going to do it from standing up. So our back again, remember when we landed, was to the mat. We come around, unwind, and now we're using the triangle. The triangle here, it's hard to visualize and see. Normally I use a blackboard to show this, and I'll probably do this when we go and put the application of the techniques on a person. I'll draw this triangle out so you can see it and understand it a little better. But anyway, we're basically unwound at the base of the square. Person comes in, we're doing a standard crane. We're going off to the base, kicking the point and landing on the point with the back knuckle, the elbow, and then our spin chop. Now I'm going to scoop kick with my feet. The scoop is the right foot and the kick is the left foot. So the kick goes forward, the hands, again, now they're going to torque to the opposite side and pull back to your left against the kick. So I go scoop, and then the kick comes in against the hands. So this is what holds us in position here. So we spin to the chop, we go scoop, kick, and that makes sure that draw happens against the kick. We land halfway out, come back to the base we came from, and do the same thing left-handed, spin, chop, and now the hands are going to draw to the right, scoop, kick. See, again, they go to the right against the kick. See, when we make our move, you can spin the chop, category completion move, or application move. It's up to you. The spin, chop, scoop, kick, plant to the line, Then we jump to the square of the base and then down. You'll notice that we're going around the triangle, the opposite side of 4. 4 left the triangle and went to this side and down. And now in 5, we're going to the opposite side and down as we're going around it different. So again, I'll do this one more time. From the transition behind, we unwound, we came off, kicked the point, land on the point with the back knuckle. Your spin, chop, scoop, kick, out to the base, work, come around, spin, chop, scoop, kick, point, and down, and then into the salutation to finish the form out. And now we do close it because we're through. So that's the base of 5. We'll be back in a minute to do the techniques on a person, show you how the fulcrums and the takedowns work. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, now before we continue, I want to make something a little clearer here. You'll notice on the floor that I changed the tape pattern to show the 2 triangles, and I did this to cover, I mentioned about how 4 used one triangle and 5 uses another triangle. If you notice here on the floor, I've taped a triangle in here. Now this is going to represent the point, as we see the point looking at the camera. We come back down to the base, and this is the base part, and then the opposite side. These little marks are what we call the halfway points. That's halfway up to the point from the base. So the base represents, just like here if I'm standing in a horse, and this being the point again. Now when we did 4, I talked about the transition. When we moved to one side and we did twirling hammers this way, we're working the top triangle in my crossover to get the opposite side. And then when we crossed, we closed on the triangle coming from right to left. And now 5, we're going to turn that around and close it coming from left to right. So you notice that we just, in 4, when we did 4, we came around the triangle and worked the front part, what some people call the female triangle, into the male triangle, and wound up on the base. We're going to do the same thing in 5, again coming this way. So I'm going to do the transition from 5. Let me get rid of the stick here. I'm going to do, when we did the last circle of the horizon, the feet came up, we went behind ourselves, and when we unwound the face camera, we were on the right corner base of the triangle, and we worked the crane. So we come off to the base, we kick the point and land on the point, and we work our hands. And we're going to forget the hand work right now. Then we scoop and plant halfway back on this side where I'm coming from, and then I kick the point with the opposite foot and plant halfway out the other side, come back to the base I started from, kick the point and land on the point, scoop, come halfway back, kick the point, land on the halfway mark, to the base, and down to finish. See, so this, again, just reversed. We started around, and we went back around it to close. So that is how the triangle works on Form 5 and Form 4. When we get into Form 6, we're going to enlarge this triangle and make it what we call a 2-step triangle. And when we get that point, I'll have a big triangle so we can see what that looks like. So that should clear up a little bit about the 2 triangles. So have fun with that. Okay, now before we break the form down a little bit and show you the fulcrums, I'm going to do like 4, and we're going to go through the form without stopping in its entirety. And again, we'll shoot it from the side. This is just so you can catch the transitions and put it together on your own. So we'll start facing sideways here from the salutation, numbers 5. We come out. We'll get to position, hit, sweep, unwind, hit, come off, hit, and unwind, hit, take down, hit, turn over, chop, okay, lock, carry, take down, turn him over, and shoot, transition, leap, throw, tuck, spin, chop, drop, kick, catch, throw, spin, chop, drop, kick, 3 on line, off, out. Drop, rip. 1, 2, 3. Off in the corner. Hit, rip, chop, rip. And on line. Boom, on line. Boom, on line. And around. Reset. Boom, around. And a push. And through the takedown. And then move. Through, here's the kick. Turn. Take down. Step. 1, 2, 3. And down. 3. Into the low. Kick. Heel. Heel. And around. Rin, chop. Kick, stomp, move out. Boom, and chop. Kick. Boom. Down. And out. And that's 5. Okay, now we're going to get into 5 and show some of the application of the takedowns. And most of you know these techniques already, but just to restate what the form is all about is understanding the fulcrums and the different ways you can take somebody down. I'll bring Jan in just for position to show the principle of what's going on. We're going to take these basically in order. I'll skip a few the isolation type moves. But the first one in destructing fans, the person comes in from the side with a punch. We're moving outside and forgetting the handwork. All we need to do is look at the footwork. As I'm going to take the base out from behind. So the line of force is from behind, and that's taking the base out. And naturally, this is done in our double sweep, but we're doing the same thing. We're taking the base out from the rear. And so that's destructive fans. Now in Dance of Death, we just take it, doing the same thing. We keep that, but we add to it. Now Dance of Death, when he comes in with a punch, we're in position. Everybody knows the dance. I'm doing my leg lift, and you know that we're taking the base out, but we add a line here of the force of the elbow opposing that line and moving to the rear. So we not only have the base coming out to the front, but we have what we call the top side, or the top and the base, the top going to the rear. So we have the double line, the push-pull, whether it be with the elbow, the hand, or whatever. That's the opposing line that crosses it, going in both directions now. Like we grab the stick, we only move the bottom of the stick, then we grab the stick and we did this, and that's the double fulcrum involved there. Now we'll change it to a different technique. Okay, the next two that are grouped together in the form is the leap of death and the backbreaker. So we'll show how that fulcrum, now we're on the high line, long handle from front and rear. So in leap of death, Jan's coming in with the punch, we're dropping back with our parry, we catch the arm, we go into our back knuckle, and then our fulcrum now is on the top. So we grab high, and the throw down comes, we throw him down, and we want the position. Now you notice I talked about this when I did the form, that his belt or his kidney line is basically right in line with my foot. Again, we don't want to toss the guy a mile and then have to run and chase him. If we also try to throw him, he has a chance of rolling and moving. And remember, we haven't really done anything to him. We've possibly hyperextended or broke the elbow. The back knuckle to the ribs doesn't do a whole lot. So we're relying on the takedown, and this is where the technique basically comes in. Now, so we can catch the handwork in the front where we don't want to lose him in the kneel. I'm going to have Jan shift to face camera, and we're at the same position where the throw down went. I did the takedown, so I just jumped straight up, and I come down in my frog with the heels in, catching through both kidneys, and it's feet, hands into the heel palms to the head. This is to bounce the head off the floor. So from the throw, we jump up and come through the kidneys, the head hits down, and we go into the tuck, and then we tuck our knees to hold him up. We have the spin, then we grab what we want is a handful of hair here, and we spin, and we have to hold him up or he's going to drop right back down. See? So we hold him up and say, hey, you're staying here. Then you pick your shot, whatever you want to hit. Okay. Then I can use this hand again to make sure I have the angle I want. As I drive him down, I'll hit and I'll turn and make sure the knee drops and push the head down, and then the spring comes into the kick to the temple. Wham, here. The foot's going to come for transition of the form. our 3 on line, we go small of the back, then the kick to the groin, and this is on the ankle, see, and then that'll take us out in our corner. See, so that was the 3 on line in use in the transition. Okay, now we'll go to the back breaker, and I remember what we just did was the top out from the front. Now he's coming in from the angle, and I say, oh, notice I'm basically doing the same thing, but I'm going into him, and I say, let's take the top out, but now from the rear. See, so we brought the top from the rear. Now, one thing about this, let's move into camera here. Get your back on my knee. So you see a lot of people work real short-handed with no travel. You see, move like, like this. You see, you might have seen this. I know you have, because I've seen it many times. That's like a good massage, but that's about all it is. See? So once we slammed him on the knee, then we're going to spin his head. But we don't gently just grab. We, you hit, and spin this sideways. Then we have the same crank, up, put the same shot in. Now I have to cock my hand, so I don't want to waste that. So I do my double rip with the claws up, and my hands make sure they go above my head. Then you have travel down to hit. Then we follow that circle, showing this one-handed. You follow that circle and hit again. So you don't go short or have a horizontal line, a false travel line. We're hitting down here, so we keep hitting down, down, down. That's the line we want. See? We hit, spin, chop, rip, and overhead to our claw, and that's where we drop back and wind up with the head between the knees. Another common one here is reversing. See? The head, just like the form, belongs between the knees. Then we pivot the heel in and drive into the clavicle. It's in the right place. So anyway, that's the top out from the back. So we had the top out from the front and the top out from the back. Then we'll get into combinations in the front, rear, from behind in a minute. Okay. Okay, now we'll move into the sleeper, brushing the storm, and falling falcon. To show you how this together in the form, it does the top, bottom, then comes back to the middle position, which would be the elbow. But anyway, on the sleeper, the person's coming in and we're moving outside, and what we're doing is we're hitting the throat, and we're going to lock into that position, and our fulcrum now and our takedown is the top again, but we're from the front, and we're taking it out to the back. Okay, so instead of, remember with the last technique we did the back breaker, we were on the top, but we're taking it down from behind to the back. Now we're in the front, taking it to the back. See, now, some problems that people have with the sleeper. Remember when we do the sleeper, whether you step up or back, and either is correct, whether you move up with the left foot or back with the right, because you have to read your opponent's motion of how much he's coming in. If he's really hauling in, you'll have to step back. If he's not, you can go to him. But what we don't want to do is from a block is swing and arc this chop in, because we're putting the opponent's hand in block position. We're basically setting up for him to do an inward block like this. If he comes in with a punch and I move his hand over and swing this, I say, oh, that's about a perfect inward block. See, so we know that. We want to slide underneath, and what we're doing, so for the camera, we come under, palm up, and then we torque it and roll it in to palm down. See, now this is assuming we have the line where his hand isn't in position to block it off. That'll put us in our family grouping that we want to get into later. So when he comes in with the punch now, we're moving this, then we shoot this under and then torque it in. See, so we're going under the arm into the strike before we come in and lock in to break him down. So that's, again, the top out from the front, but taking the line of force to the rear. Okay, and then we get into, that was the sleeper. Now brushing the storm is going to go to the low line. The person's coming in from the side again, and we're stepping off and parrying, and we're shooting from point of origin, and we're just doing a lift. There's a lot of people take the hand and have the reverse line of draw the hand back and then shoot in. So just like you're going to carry a tray, complement the angle up, and just ride right under the chin. So when he comes in, we're moving off, and you hit. Now, another common mistake is a lot of people just move in, and this elbow just slides down the chest. People have a lot of trouble with this. This is an upward elbow, and you have to set your distance for it. The line of force is up. It's an upward elbow. So when he comes in, we're moving this back, and then we get underneath and hit up. Then we come around into the groin area. Then we go down to the leg, and we take the leg out, again, the base to the rear. See, we took the base out before to the front, and to the front with the Dance of Death and Destructive Fans. Now we're taking it, the base out to the rear, and the push from the rear is the same as the push from the front in Dance of Death. See, this would be like left-handed Dance of Death, if that's the motion, to Destructive Fans. Okay, now remember what we're looking at next here is the elbow or the midline from our 1, 2, 3 move. As we hit high, then we have the elbow, and then to the low zone. We did the takedown from high with the sleeper. We put the elbow in. You can put it in both techniques, the sleeper and brushing the storm. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then we go to the low line for the takedown. So in the sleeper, if the punch comes in and we have to move and we move out, you can put in the anchoring elbow shot, okay, before you go into the lock to take him down. And that flapping elbow will relate to the upward elbow in brushing the storm. So when brushing the storm comes in, we move off, hit here, and then get your upward elbow before we go into taking the base out. Okay. Now, so the elbow is what we're looking at for Falling Falcon. So Falling Falcon, from this side, we go to that midline. So when he comes in to push, you notice I'm really cutting the range in half. If I step in, my hand has much more reach than my elbow does, but we've already used that range for the sleeper. See, so we're using now the elbow into the head of the humerus and just locking that position for our takedown. Now I'm going to go into the alignment here to show you what I talked about when we did the form. We don't have a proper line, so I'm going to have Jan spin to face camera, and I'll be working right along beside him. So strictly by the form angles, just straight back and forth on the line. When we made the takedown, we snake underneath, hit the elbow, slide up to catch the wrist. Then we elbow the knee, then we get our pull stomp, and then we step back on the line for our snake and hit with the opposite hand to catch, and then we go 1, 2, 3 on line. Well, you notice, just hold your hand over there, that this, I'm really right beside him, and so this would be a complementary angle. To do the technique correctly, I would have to step off on the black line over here, 45 degrees out, so my foot would bite. So I would need to be on this angle, so when I come out, then the heel kick comes into the kidney. Now let me take it from the hand to the takedown with the proper angles. When we snake and hit, then when I knee and pull stomp, then I step away instead of back down on the line. See, this is for application, not the form. Away, so when I turn and hit, then this knee comes out, and I have a lot of travel back into the kidney shot or nerve pinch. I go heel, let it come high, then into ball as we wipe the foot off to go down. So the important thing we're looking at there is just the heel ball, as in the technique in Circling the Horizon did it, ball heel. See, just turned it around. This is another one of our reverse and opposites. Okay, so that's how it comes back in and picks up that elbow range. So we took down the high line with the sleeper, put our elbows in, then went to the low line for brushing the storm. Then we come back and said, don't forget that middle position or the elbow. So we use that to take down too. And that pretty much explains that. Okay, now we come to the last two techniques and how they reverse each other. That's Circling the Horizon and Leaping Crane. So I'm going to have Jan come in with the right punch from this angle so we can just talk about what's going on. Like when we move into the crane, we work from the bottom, and the targets we have the low, the middle, and the high, or the knee, kidney, head. You notice the spacing is equal. See, so I can work from the bottom, or I can work from the top. Okay, just reverse it, and that's what these next two techniques do. So anyway, to show the transition and how it's used is different than the technique that's taught in application. It's coming from your flank, basically obscure in the form, and we use what we call a blocking strike. It was a back knuckle. We have blocking punches. We have striking punches. This is where we're blocking with the hanging back knuckle with the arm and then put in the back knuckle. So the transition in the form, you're in the crossover and the punch is coming in. We spin to the cat and we use the elbow to block, hang in the back knuckle, then the claw comes in, and then we step out with the back knuckle. So that's the transition in the form of the back knuckle, claw, step out, back knuckle. But in the technique and application, we do it normally from the front because it is a crane family technique. So when he comes in, we move outside, and we say, let's work from the top down. So we slide in and hit the temple. That's what's going to make him bring his arm up. Then I'm going to draw straight and then hit the midsection, and then drop down on my knee to hit the knee to get the buckle started, and then the takedown of the sweep through, and then the ball of the foot comes through the kidney, and then the heel drops up and drops in. Okay, and this is the application in the form. Then we have the draw to flat. We do this different ways where we'll roll to the person. The kick in the kidney is to get him to roll, or try to get him to roll, because we don't want the person to go down on his back. See? So if we kept the hand when we kick, it's just going to make him roll, and then we'll come to him and slide up and lock him, and then we can go into the different locks that we use on the arm to make that footwork that you see in the form happen. Okay, so that's how that works anyway. So again, if he comes in, see what we're doing is we're working from the top down by dropping ourself, putting us down on our own knee, and then we'll reverse that with the crane and put him down on his knee and work the opposite. So in the crane now, we put him down, work the middle, from low, middle, then into high. Okay, now another thing about the extension moves here, past this motion, you'll see this done different ways. You'll see the right hand, being the elbow, come around and catch the chin and pull the head this way, and you're creating an orbit here of pulling this elbow into your center line where your groin and stomach and everything is. And it's also, most people can't get it anyway. It's very hard to reach around there because the person also, when you're fighting, he wants to look at you. Now if he tries to look this way, you can do it. But if he looks the other way, it's impossible to do. See? So that's what we call a category completion move, is we do everything on both sides. If I do it with this hand, I have to do it with this hand. We do it with this hand in crossing talons, but we have the arm checked that's in your center line, so there's no problem. Here we don't. Now to show you what I'm talking about, let's do crossing talon. If he has me, see, and I'm working the technique where I take him down, then this is the move we're looking at. See, I have this, but the arm that's in my center line is checked off, so it's okay to do that. Okay. When it's not checked, it's not okay to do that, so let's work from this angle. So when he comes in on the crane, when we kick him down, if we turn the opposite direction, we rotate the hand that would be in your center line away with the hand that your strong hand on your blind side where it doesn't have any travel or a target. And plus when we spin the head from here, we have the same position to relate to our other techniques of the backbreaker. There's a few others that you cross-reference them, you'll find. And we hold and we say, okay, what targets do we want? See? So you have a much better target availability and cancel that weapon that's in your center line. This is the way I do it, teach it, and like to see it done. See, so not just for the category completion, but to work the cancellation angle on it. Okay, so that should just cover a lot of the reverses and opposites there and the fulcrums on the shakedowns. Okay, that basically covers 5, what we say in a nutshell. Now remember, when we did 4, that was our kicks and our punches, techniques, the meat of the system basically. Remember 5 and 6 are specialty forms, and 5 here was a study of takedowns. That's all we would say the definition of 5 is the takedown form and how do we do our takedowns and all the different angles and the fulcrums, singles, and doubles. Then we get into the next progression would be form 6, and that goes into defense against weapons, and that we'll do on the next set of tapes. So again, that's 5, and hope you can get it down, have fun with it. Thank you.